Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk. The Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.
You have got to get up pretty early to go do something. We are the Alternative Dig Talk. With our mobile studios, we are redefining TV presentation just as technology is setting the pace. We are blending our approach with fresh, perspectively designed breakfast show, The Mighty Drive, informative and entertainment show, exclusive and live interviews.
We President Museveni wadde juzi namulaba apima akawunga kilo 2 tasobola kalya nini bwaba alya kilo 5 oyannema okuliisa eggwanga ne bwe limundekera.
Njagala kwebaza the Alternative Dig Talk etuwadde kano ka Mighty Drive era n'abatuwuliriza bonna abali ku mikutu njagala basaba mugendo maaso n'okuwuliriza.
All given to you just a click away on your phone, tablet, laptop and smart TVs as we are streaming live on our social media platforms, on the road and on the go. We are the Alternative Dig Talk. People, you're welcome to the Snap Talk with your girl Teddy Tenjo every Saturday right from 6 to 7.
It is your responsibility omwana wo kubeera mu nyumba nga teyasuze bweru mbo bamubanja rent. Koyo kulaba abalenzi abasajja abakunga butuufu tebabuulirirwa nga babulamu.
Towerabira nti tuli wano ku the Alternative Dig Talk. Mukwano gwange gwaliye topic kiji wandiyagadde twogereko. Is it about family?
You can take your time. Look for a job, stabilize, men will come, men will always be there, you will get the men. Bonna goyagala musajja yenna goyagala ojja mufuna.
Embaga ketuuke. Bino bitu byasenga na ojja bafuna.
Naye ng'oli asitudde ttu yakedde ku makya baga nti nsitudde ttu. Naye nga mubutuufu agambye nti gy'akyali muto.
Is it outside family? Is it society? Oh, could it be relationships? Just be commenting a topic yona gyandiyagadde twogereko tujjako tujogera kwano ku the Alternative Dig Talk ku share enganzi the Snap Talk.
Are you guys ready? Okay, let's serve Uganda. As promised, we deliver. We are redefining the social media narrative, asking tough questions and holding your leaders accountable. We are non-partisan and break down having a conversation with Uganda.
We are the Mighty Drive. We hold debates that give you viable solutions. We bring to you people that Ivora is wanting to listen to. We are gender sensitive and give space to the unheard voices. Not forgetting the quote of the day.
We are live on our social media platforms, The Alternative Uganda on Facebook, YouTube and Twitter from Monday to Friday, 7 to 9 a.m. Don't miss the debate behind the wheels and our studios.
I am Edgar Mathew Karuhanga.
And Princess Luwedde Lilian.
Expect in-depth analysis, credible, factual and authentic information. We are the Alternative Dig Talk.
Real issues, real talk.
Hey Ugandans, I'm Lieutenant Colonel Dewa Kiki, the Deputy Defense Spokesperson and actually the Deputy Spokesperson for the Uganda People's Defense Forces. I was hosted on Alternative Dig Talk. I encourage all Ugandans that this is the way to go. Always watch, participate, give your views and ask questions on Alternative Dig Talk. Dig Talk, the way to go.
The Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.
We are live on the social media platforms, that is Facebook, YouTube and all other social media platforms. We told you we are redefining the social media narrative, and that is what we do exactly every morning, breaking down, having a conversation with you, with Uganda and the rest of the world. Good morning, welcome to the Mighty Drive Show. My name is Edgar Mathew Karuhanga and it is a Thursday, a cold Thursday right here in Kampala, Uganda, where we're streaming live from. And tell me in the comment section, how is it, where you are and where exactly are you watching from? Is it a bit cold, is it warm, is it chilly, or is it already blazing hot in your particular environment? Feel free to log on to my social media platforms, that is at the Alternative Uganda Facebook, and just throw in that comment. I'll be reading some of those comments and I'll make sure that I give you feedback on what you've told us. But be comfortable to just tell me where you're streaming live from and how the weather is today morning. We are all anticipating the speech of the president, who is going to be addressing the nation today, or is going to be addressing Uganda about the security issues or the security status in the country. For over a few months now, we have had a lot of insecurities roaming in the country, starting from what happened in Masaka, or the Greater Masaka, that was, the Masaka killings. And after the Masaka killings had a bit stopped, we had more and fire outbreaks, we've had them. Then bombings have also been the talk of the day. There are also kidnaps that have been happening in the central region of the country, that is Katwe, in Kampala district. So we have a lot of insecurity that has been going here and there. Away from the insecurity, the maternal rates of deaths today are also increasing by the day. As the Ministry of Health recollects or recounts, it tells you now that over 16 people actually lose their lives every day as they're trying to bring life on earth. That is something that is a bit sad, but we are here to change the narrative, so we try to throw more information, throw more light about what is happening in the country. So if you know about this, according to Kawempe Hospital, over 16 mothers lose their lives as they're trying to usher in a life, or they're trying to give birth. That is the saddening part of Uganda. But still on that, we still have a couple of stories that are ranging. Parliament yesterday came out to talk to petition government or the ministers and tell them, hey, what is happening in the country? What is the cause of all these bombings? And why are we isolated in most of the decision makings that are being made? So that is what the Parliament is also reiterating. But the Minister of Internal Affairs, or the State Minister for Internal Affairs, Mr. Muhoozi, was also there to make sure that he tries to throw more light at what is happening in the country. The MPs still dispute what is happening and say the Uganda Ugandan police has not done enough or adequate, provisions to make sure that it is safe for the Ugandan out there. What is happening in Sudan is that we have a coup going on, and right now as we speak, there are no flights that are allowed to enter Sudan or to exit Sudan at the end of the day. Protests are going on, and 3 people by dawn today, we've had 3 people who have claimed their lives in these particular protests, and 80 people, over 80 people in fact, have actually had a bit of challenges or have got wounds or injuries from these protests. So that is what is happening all over the globe and in this country, and feel free to just give us feedback on what you think would be something viable, or your take on what exactly is happening today. My name is Edgar Mathew Karuhanga. I'm in the proud company of Mr. Rogers Tulyahabwe, who is my producer of the day. He will be joining me here to talk about the environmental tips, what is exactly is happening in the world of environment. I see a lot of climate activists, and there is a climate Commonwealth, I think, meeting that is happening. I'm not sure. Why am I even talking about the environment? Mr. Rogers is going to be joining me, and he knows more, or he knows better information and credible information about what is happening in the world of environment. Conferences are going on here and there. So he'll be telling us what are these conferences about and what should Ugandans or the whole world expect about the climate activism in the country. The lady on camera is Tenjo Nabukera, and Lilian Luwedde will be joining me later on in the show. This show is proudly powered by Praise Property Consultants. These ladies and gentlemen deal in everything land. Do you want to acquire land on the outskirts of Kampala? Feel free to just look for them. They are situated at the KCCA market in Wandegea, room 128. Room 128, you'll be able to catch them up and maybe have a talk and a conversation to make sure you can acquire yourself the best of land, and at cheaper price and affordable, in fact, prices at the end of the day. So let me start off the discussion with what has been happening in this country, and I'll start in the state of the insecurity that is going on. The Minister of Internal Affairs, State Minister for Internal Affairs, Mr. Muhoozi, came through to address the Parliament and tell them exactly what is happening on ground. So as we're speaking right now, we're already sure that these are terror attacks. So there are terror attacks that are in the country. People are being, a bit scared, and as we're speaking right now, you have to be vigilant. Yesterday there's a story that was running on TV, and it was showing that people are not even caring about what is happening in the country, or they're not even taking extra measures to check or double check with individuals who are entering and exiting the various buildings in Kampala. These buildings house over 1,000 people per day, so that means there are a lot of lives that are at stake. If we're not careful to make sure that we man ourselves, that means we are in for a rally. Remember, if you're looking at the security to actually keep you safe, yes, it is their role, but one policeman is allocated over 500 people that he can actually protect. That means that's a huge number of persons to be protected. So it is in that regard that I tell you, it starts with you. Being vigilant starts with you. Being extra precautious starts with you, because at the end of the day, these bombings may continue. That is what some of the speculators have told us, that there is yet to come. So you should be a bit vigilant and make sure that you protect yourself and your family at the end of the day. Don't loiter in places where you're not supposed to be. And if you are to be there, be vigilant and extra cautious enough to make sure that you double check with somebody near you. You double check with the building, with the security, to make sure that you're also a safe, informed citizen at the end of the day, to see the light of tomorrow. Because at the end of the day, if you die today, you will not be able to see the light of tomorrow. So what Parliament was requesting is that government should give them more answers on the bombings, because they're not sure what exactly is going on. We've not yet really apprehended the people we're supposed to apprehend, but of course it's a bit of time that we need to, that the police needs to actually make a bit of a thorough investigation, not to draw conclusions, and also come up with credible information that can get people convicted at the end of the day, and when their convictions are actually backed up by evidence and data. So it is in that regard that the Parliament made sure to also confirm that they are in line with the education of citizens or the masses, to make sure that they educate them about how they can protect themselves. So what the police is doing and what the security operatives are doing is to try to sensitize individuals. Like yesterday, you're saying some individuals from Kansanga and Kabalagala who were actually under training, trying to show them how to better protect their businesses, how to better protect their property in a time like this where we have a lot of terror attacks. So the police is trying to keep the masses informed, trying to teach them how better they can actually make sure they are and equip themselves to be protected from these terror attacks. So that is what is happening in the security sector of the country. The president is set to address today. He will be addressing the country, telling them about the way forward on the bomb attacks and the state of security in the country. What we expect him to actually talk about, we'll be talking about this with Lilian. We have a bit of some key pointers as the fourth estate. We just want to ask some questions and try to guide the discussion, because as the president is going to come to talk, and many Ugandans know and often realize that the president oftentimes has a way of playing around with words and sometimes does not bring up the gist of the matter. When you see him talking about the 70s, the 60s, yes, that is good, because history is what makes the present and the present makes the future. But sometimes we really need spot-on answers that you can give to Ugandans, and Ugandans will actually say, yes, you have given us the information we need to stay safe at the end of the day. So we shall be talking about some of the things we think the president should prioritize and actually talk about in the state of security. We as the fourth estate, because of course we are the watchdog of the community, we know what is happening in the community because we live in the community, and then our job is to air out these views and grievances, or maybe objectives that the government can actually pass on behalf of the masses or the citizens at the end of the day. So let's after Rogers talking about the environment tips, we'll be delving into this discussion with Lilian, and we'll be talking about these things. How best can we actually critique President Museveni to actually, or how best can we hope that President Museveni talks about the issue of insecurity in this country. So continue watching The Mighty Drive, because there is a lot that is yet to come. And as we've told you, we are launching our new studios in November. You should expect a lot of in-depth analysis, credible, factual, and authentic information in real time. And we're going to be unveiling them. So be wide open. May you be alert, because you don't want to miss what is coming by November. November is going to be a month of change. And starting from November, we are changing or redefining the social media narrative, giving you the stories that you actually would want to watch in real time, and with a lot of evidence and research. So you should feel free to stay, and you should always share these videos, share them for the whole world to see, and let them test some good news bulletins or some good programming on an online media platform. So let me also leave the issue of insecurity. Let me talk about Miss Emily Nyaneza. Miss Emily Nyaneza, as you remember, is the lady who succumbed to the bomb blasts that were in Komamboga. That was on Saturday last week. This lady was buried, or was laid to rest, in Kirinya Boyogerere cemetery. According to people who were there, this particular lady did not have any family that came through to actually look for or claim her body. So she was buried by a group of friends that she's been working with, I think, at Digida Pork Joint and the rest of Kawempe. So some of her friends came through to actually bid their farewell to the fallen lady, that is Emily Nyaneza. Emily is speculated to have been over or around 20 years, because nobody is actually certain of her age. But according to some of her friends, she was around 20 years, and she was trying to make ends meet by working at Digita Pork Joint. May her soul rest in eternal peace. She was laid to rest yesterday in Kirinya Boyogerere, that is in a cemetery, and we hope that her soul may rest in eternal peace. That is a sad coming in from there in Boyogerere. Now, yesterday we saw what I can call a twist or an argument of words, not of fists but of words, by the Minister for Security, Jim Muhwezi, and Mr. Semujunganda, the Kira Municipality Member of Parliament. You should have seen this video, and I know it's going around on social media. You should get it. And these people are challenging each other, where Jim Muhwezi actually became sentimental and told Mr. Semuju that you should not be talking about my name in loose talk. And when you talk about the loose talk, Mr. Semuju was saying, I'm not just speaking loose talk, I'm bringing the facts of the matter. You were once in Luzira. They were talking about the no bail claim that is that President Museveni is trying to, and his government that is trying to actually implement, though it has come with a bit of challenges here and there. So in this regard, Mr. Semuju was saying that Jim Muhwezi will need that law, will need to have bail at the end of the day, because he was once actually apprehended and remanded in Luzira. And what really excited the whole people, the House at large, the Parliament, that Mr. Semuju said Jim Muhwezi is actually an individual who is a bit callous, who had to go back and actually pick a 2-inch mattress that he had left in Luzira. The Mike Mukulas, the Gilbert Bukenyas actually left their property there. But what was unique about Mr. Muhwezi, the Minister for Security, is that he actually had to go back to Luzira after being released to go back and actually pick his 2-inch mattress to take it back home. So I don't know what he was trying to insinuate, but it is unique for a man of Mr. Jim Muhwezi's stature to actually go back and pick a mattress of 2-inch. But who am I to judge people's demeanor or statures? Everybody is an Ugandan, and we are all equal at the end of the day in front of the law. But that is what Mr. Jim Muhwezi did, which threw a lot of members of parliament in laughter and a bit of wit that showed a lot of blossoming faces right there in the parliament of this country. You should watch that video. It's going around, and you really also catch a manufacture smile at the end of the day. Let's talk about Mr. Bobi Wine. Bobi Wine is the leader of opposition right about now, with over 60 members of parliament in the August House. Kyagulanyi yesterday paid a courtesy visit to the family of John Damulira. John Damulira is one of the many, all of the various members of the National Unity Platform who were abducted prior to the 2021 elections, and I would use as a suspected abduction. I'm not sure, because that is what the NUP asserts. Now, they say Mr. John Damulira disappeared from that time, even up to now. He is nowhere to be seen. So he had paid a courtesy visit in Makinde to the family of John Damulira. He took a bit of utilities and products, a bit of food, and some homemade material, things that actually can be consumed at home, and some property that can help these people to keep going, the family of John Damulira, and left, of course, a bit of some money to help these individuals make it in life. They said they've been going through various challenges since the time when Mr. John Damulira was abducted, and even up to now, John Damulira's whereabouts are nowhere to be seen. That is maybe 10 months down the road since the election in 2021. Even up to now, Mr. John Damulira is nowhere to be seen. And Mr. Bobi Wine asserts that this individual was abducted by the security operatives. About the authenticness of that story, I do not know. But one thing I'm sure of is that John Damulira is nowhere to be seen, and his family right now is not in the best of situations that you can actually say a family should actually be in at the end of the day, since the breadwinner, Mr. John Damulira, even up to now, is nowhere to be seen. So Mr. Bobi Wine was in the company of Louis Rubongoya, the Secretary General of the National Unity Platform, to make sure that they try to maybe compensate or help the family of John Damulira in this time when they don't have their sole breadwinner. So you are still watching the Mighty Drive Show. My name is Edgar Mathew Karuhanga, and right now we have a few minutes to come to the close of this particular bulletin. But before we do that, there is a war on energy drinks. As one minister who has been the State Minister for Gender and Culture, who was asking, and I'm also asking you, why is the rise of manpower products on a high right now? Many people, if it's not Mokamana Yamba, it is something like that. If it's not that, it's a Red Bull, or it is a kombucha energy drink. Why is this happening? And that is what the minister is actually as well asking herself, that what is happening in our country? Why do we have a lot of energy drinks? Is that the job that our youths are actually doing, to just make more energy at the end of the day. What is the energy going to help you? That is what she was asking. And I'm also reiterating the same question to you. Why is it that we have a lot of energy drinks on market today? I was seeing one that my friend Rogers was showing me Uganda. It's called Chairman Wechanga. Now, Chairman Wechanga, I don't know what that is supposed to actually mean, but that is what is in Uganda. Uganda is a funny state where you find everything funny. Uganda tewabula kibozi buli lunaku oba wakava ku kino ng'ogwa ku kino oba wakava ku kino ng'ogwa ku kino. That is Uganda for you at the end of the day. 25 minutes past the top of the hour. My name is Edgar Mathew Karuhanga, and trying to give you what happened where you're not. But then Keza Kokwa Kumawile, Agabade, Joe Taba. The Segirinya is hospitalized and he was not even able to actually appear in court. And it was only Mr. Sewanyana who appeared in court and actually was denied bail. And the NUP has a stand that the denial of bail to these two legislators is based on President Museveni. That is what the NUP is actually saying, that the denial of bail is based on President Museveni. President Museveni is putting the judiciary on pressure to actually not grant bail to MP Sewanyana and Segirinya. That is what the NUP is saying, and even up to now, yesterday they were denied bail, and we shall be waiting for the next hearing. Remember, these people were remanded to Kitale prison following the cases that they were abating terrorism, they were actually doing terrorism, murdering, and also attempting to murder innocent Ugandans in the Greater Massacre region. Those are four very, very huge cases that have actually been filed against these two individuals. Let's wait and see what the court will say and when they will actually be giving these people a bail, because remember, the Ugandan Constitution mandates that one is actually innocent until proven guilty, but it is now the vice versa in the case of Segirinya and Sewanyana. It looks like they are guilty until proven innocent or otherwise. That is what is happening right there in the world of Segirinya and Sewanyana. They're still remanded at Kitale prison, but Segirinya has been getting specialized treatment at Mulago Hospital, so I hope he will be better at the end of the day. We're not sure what exactly is the problem with Mr. Segirinya, but he is not actually okay. And I think the person who tried to murder, who murdered Richard Agaba is the OC of Ruharo Police in Mbarara. You remember the story that I gave you right here on the drive about an OC who was murdered and his gun was actually taken. The police has actually apprehended the person who is suspected to have murdered Mr. Richard Agaba the late. Now, he is called Dick Tushemereidwe, and he is also a UPDF deserter. He's the one that murdered, apparently, according to the Uganda Police Force, he's the one who is suspected of murdering Mr. Richard Agaba, the OC of Ruharo Police Station that is in Mbarara. I hope at least there is a bit of justification and some people have actually been brought to book. Sudan, as I told you, there is a coup that is going on and protests are raging on in the country. The airports have been closed, and Mr. Abdallah Hamdok, who was the Prime Minister, has actually been released but had been convicted by the UPDF of Sudan, or what I'm meaning, the Sudanese army. So they had actually apprehended this gentleman, but because of the protests that have been going on, because of the UN, because of the other organizations, international organizations, they've actually had to let Mr. Abdallah Hamdok free, because UN was threatening to sanction Sudan, and also African Union was also threatening to sanction Sudan. So they had to actually let Mr. Abdallah Hamdok free. And what the UN is saying that we need to actually have elections, and the government should not be just hosted like that by the military that are trying to host this particular government. Ladies and gentlemen, as I told you, there is a steep rise in the maternal deaths in this country, according to Kawempe. Kawempe ndoza mulimanyire eddwaliro lye bazaalira mu Mulago we Kawempe. Bagamba abakyala bangi abeeyongedde okubanga bafanga bafiira mu ssanya. According to statistics, abakyala 16 bafa buli lunaku, ng'ekisinga okubatta kye kirwadde kye bayita hemorrhage ye overloss of blood, nti bableedinga paka we batuuka okubanga bafa. Abantu 16 they lose their life while ushering life into this world. 16 mothers. That is something that is really saddening at the end of the day. So we shall be talking about that and Lilian, but allow me guys going for a short commercial break because my time is actually so up. It is time for Rogers to join me for the environmental tips, and after that Lilian Luwedde will come through to actually talk about what is happening in this country. Let's go in for a short commercial break. Rogers Tulyahabwe returns with the environmental tips.
Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.
Hello beautiful people, you're welcome to the Snap Talk with your girl Teddy Tenjo every Saturday right from 6 to 7.
It is your responsibility omwana wo kubeera mu nyumba nga teyasuze bweru mbo bamubanja rent. Koyo kulaba abalenzi abasajja abakunga butuufu tebabuulirirwa nga babulamu.
Towerabira nti tuli wano ku the Alternative Dig Talk. Mukwano gwange gwali topic kiri wandyagadde twogereko. Is it about family?
You can take your time, look for a job, stabilize, men will come, men will always be there, you will get the men. Bonna gwoyagala musajja yenna gwoyagala ojja mufuna.
Embaga ketuuke. Bino bintu byasenga na ojja bafuna.
Naye ng'oli asitudde ttu yakedde ku makyabbaga nti nsitudde ttu naye nga mubutuufu agambye nti akyali muto.
Is it outside family? Is it society? Oh, could it be relationships? Just be commenting a topic yona gyanjagadde twogereko tujjako tujogera kwano ku the Alternative Dig Talk ku share enganzi the Snap Talk.
Hey Ugandans, I'm Lieutenant Colonel Kiki, the Deputy Defense Spokesperson and actually the Deputy Spokesperson for the Uganda People's Defense Forces. I was hosted on Alternative Dig Talk. I encourage all Ugandans that this is the way to go. Always watch, participate, give your views and ask questions on Alternative Dig Talk. Dig Talk, the way to go.
Let's serve Uganda. As promised, we deliver. We are redefining the social media narrative, asking tough questions and holding your leaders accountable. We are non-partisan and break down having a conversation with Uganda.
We are the Mighty Drive. We hold debates that give you viable solutions. We bring to you people that Ivora is wanting to listen to. We are gender sensitive and give space to the unheard voices. Not forgetting the quote of the day.
We are live on our social media platforms, The Alternative Uganda on Facebook, YouTube and Twitter from Monday to Friday, 7 to 9 a.m. Don't miss the debate behind the wheels and our studios.
I am Edgar Mathew Karuhanga
and Princess Luwedde Lilian.
Expect in-depth analysis, credible, factual and authentic information. We are the Alternative Dig Talk.
Real issues, real talk.
The Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.
Welcome back from that short commercial break, and my name is Edgar. You're still watching the Mighty Drive show. It airs every Monday to Friday from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. and we're always here, as we promised, to break down, having a conversation with you, with Uganda, and that is exactly what we do. And it is in that regard that Mr. Rogers Tulyahabwe is already here with me, and he's going to be telling me what is happening in the world of environment. Rogers, welcome to the drive, man.
Thank you.
How are you?
Very well, how are you?
Did you hear what Peace Mutuzo said, the minister?
Yes,
That the high rate of teenage pregnancies is because of the energy drinks.
So the energy
like the Mukama Nayamba that you're giving us.
You mean energy drinks impregnate young girls?
They enhance the impregnation of...
Just has issues with Chairman Wechanga and the likes.
Rogers, you're not here to talk about Chairman Wechanga or the like. People have Red Bull, people have Mukama Nayamba, people have Chairman Wechanga, people have kombucha. You guys, Kazire, everything. All these things for what?
People need energy. This world is also not possible.
Energy for what?
For everything. We do work, we do money work, so we need energy and some other creational issues.
Just take us in the environmental tips.
Okay.
Because if we start the energy drink discussion, we shall not stop.
Very good morning. Thank you, Edgar, for serving the country and the world at large. We are so grateful because it's one thing to always wake up every day and know that you are at the service of the people, and that certain kinds of people always wake up to get the news, to know what is happening around them. It's good to keep the people informed. So thank you so much. And the team, of course, with Lilian Luwedde, Farida Mikobele, and every other person.
Yeah, all of you, by the way. This is the gentleman that is always on camera and also producing me. And he's always helped by Teddy Tenjo Nabukera. So it's always a pleasure. You make us. The people rarely see your faces, but people should know that it's people like you that actually make us who we are today.
Yeah,
so
but you play a big role. So thank you so much. Away from that, a very good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Rogers Tulyahabwe, as usual. And today I don't have very specific things to talk about, especially about environment. Just to say that I wanted to relate environment activism to the political activism. In this world, as I've already said, nothing is isolated from another. You find one thing is in one way or another connected to another. You find the political activism, there is by the environmental politics, just so you know. It means that events that happen in the environmental space are most of the time fueled by the political ambitions of different stakeholders in different calibers. So when something is happening, someone shouldn't let it for the people who they distinguish as environmental activists. All of us are activists in one way or another, because when something happens to you or something happens to someone you care about, you always come out to say, look, this cannot be happening and you cannot tolerate that. And you talk to the responsible persons and tell them, look, this has to change. So folks, here I am, and I'm trying to say that every one of those issues that affect us in one way or another is our responsibility to address them. And most of the times, of course, we want to run to the responsible persons. We have governments, we have international bodies, we have even local governments and a few other individuals that might be responsible in their different capacities. Those people are a part of us, and sometimes what affects us affects them. So reaching out to them and telling them, hey, this is happening, as much as you're putting much attention to a certain thing, this is as much important, so you need to address it. It is important, it is imperative. And that means all of us should become activists, should become environmental activists. Politics determines every one thing in community. Everything that happens because of the political will. I have always talked about, I think before, in one of the segments, I've talked about resource, especially natural resource appropriation by the global north from the global south, which means that you find, for example, there are resources that are being gotten from the global south. The global south is the developing countries. The global north is the developed countries. Those are the Europeans, the United States, and the likes. So those global north countries always take resources from the global south and usually dump those substandard goods and products after use to the global south. It is not a good thing, and addressing that issue is only through political processes. So you see how politics comes into environment, that when something keeps on happening, you know that a certain individual is behind the happening of a certain event. That even if we want, the way we are seeing this kind of, the last time I was talking about fashion and consumerism, there are certain countries obviously that are pushing this whole thing because their country gets a lot of GDP from that kind of thing. So you realize that addressing that is not that one person like me who is, or Teddy Tenjo who is a fashionista, is not going to stand one day and say, look, this has to stop, and it's going to stop. No, it's going to have to go through the processes. It's going to go to the political will, go to the people who are responsible in that spaces to have that issue addressed, to push it to the responsible persons. If it's coming from the global north, of course, because they are funding majority of our issue of departments and sectors in the government, it won't be a walkover. It's not always a red carpet. Of course, it's going to be the government of Uganda talking to the other one and saying that, look, you are really emitting a lot of greenhouse gases, but it is affecting us. As much as the benefits are only experienced by you, you don't experience part of the benefits of that kind of process that brings about greenhouse gas emissions. But the after effect is felt by both you and us. So we ask that you try to move from this kind of thing to some kind of something that is sustainable, something that is accommodating, something that does not affect the environment and the people. So you realize that coming to a conclusion, coming to a solution of something of a sort is only through political processes and political will. Edgar, when he was giving the updates, was talking about the convention. I talked about, I think, last week or so, about the COP. COP is a conference of parties, which was born, of course, from the Paris, which was 2015, and from the UNFCCC. UNFCCC is United Nations Conference, United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, that was born in 1992. It's happening in Glasgow, that is Scotland, which is in the United Kingdom. And COP26, this time, obviously, these are conferences that are usually gathered by parties, they are politicians, they are head of states, they are ministers and activists, climate activists, civil society heads that are in spaces like those. Those people gather in those conferences to come up with common methods, common approaches to solving environmental problems and climate change specific especially. So COP26 is happening. It began, it's beginning on 30th. I think today is 30th, if I'm not mistaken. So it's happening for a period of from then up to around 12th of next month. And in this period is when we expect some kind of solutions. We have sustainable development goals that is supposed to be implemented in the decade of action, which is this from 2020 to 2030. And I believe we have not even achieved 30% of that. So in conferences like this, they come and talk about what have we achieved and what have we not. Why haven't we achieved certain things? How can we better do this to make sure that we reach the goal, the objective that we set to achieve in the first place? So it is so important because it is those responsible persons, the people, the go-to, the people you know that if something is happening, they are the right people that should be solving it. So it is happening, and the only thing we can hope is that they come up with viable solutions to address the problem of climate change. I like to call it a pandemic because as an individual, I actually believe that the happening of coronavirus could have been due to the air pollution and all that, because it began as an airborne disease. So it could have been, and as you see, part of the solution of COVID-19, especially in Africa and in Uganda in particular, was that natural concoctions of you get herbs and cook them and drink and hope that you get better. And somehow, I think some people it helped them. I'm not sure, but it could have been. But what the whole idea is, we don't take care of the environment, and more often, majority of the people don't even think environment is at stake. But when we get issues like this, we run back to it and hope that it helps us and it serves us. So if we expect it to save us, we should be saving it just as much. So it's what I'm saying, that it's a collective work, it's a collective effort to have the environment put together and for serving all of us. We have issues of food security, especially in Africa. Africa is one land that is so fertile, but it's so absurd that it's the area that has more hunger and food insecurity. But a part of that, getting a solution to food insecurity, having the food security in this case, involves keeping the environment clean, keeping the land fertile, and that means doing sustainable ways of farming and stuff. We have this mass agriculture, industrial agriculture, I think they call it, where you want to have a big chunk of land put under agriculture and produce a massive, which involves using fertilizers and stuff like that. The use of those fertilizers and those big machines involves using toxins. Fertilizers have toxins, by the way, that kills the microbial, I don't know, I think I should put it like that, in the land, in the soil. So you find that with time, the soil is not productive to produce enough food. So that means if you're going to get too much, for example, in the first time, but in 20 years run up, especially if I may put it in that context, you may not get the same food, let alone useful enough food. So part of that is knowing that I can have a good number, not that excess, just have a good number, make sure you get the food, in the process you get the food, enough food, and then the land is safe. And that means you can always get the food from it. It's better than having too much now and having nothing in future. So it is a whole process, it's a connected process. And even achieving this, the reason why I say there is some kind of politics, is that it works with policies. It's the government and those bodies that should be putting in place policies that are sustainable, that are going to make agriculture simpler and make sure that food security is available to every person in a very long period. Not having it today, food security today, and then in future you find people all hungry and they don't have what to eat. So it is a part of the process, and I'm saying that it's our role, every one of us, to stand up every day and say that this is happening, it cannot be happening because it's threatening us, and especially our generation, the young people, because especially in Uganda, biggest majority of the population are young people. And so if you keep quiet on issues that actually affect us and is going to affect the generation that comes after us, it's Abaganda say it's kwosa nagamba. So it's our collective role. Wake up, stand up, speak up about something that is affecting us. It's in the environmental space. It's in every space, politics, environment, and everything around that. Yeah. So basically, that's what I have to do to say today, and also to inform you that this kind of segment won't be happening in the Mighty Drive. So with time, we're going to have a specific show that is going to be environmental related. That we'll be having a few other people, experienced experts, talking to us about specific other things, what they do, how do we go about keeping the environment clean. Yeah, so it won't be, this segment won't be happening again. It's going to be the Mighty Drive, but we are making sure that we have a definite show that is only there for you and for the environment. And it's all of us. It's not only those of you who have been watching it because there has been politics. No, it should be our role, all of us, to come together collectively and find solutions to issues that are affecting us and our communities. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Rogers. Tulyahabwe, I call him Wakefield, Mulalo.
Except I'm not Wakefield and Mulalo is not my name. My name is Rogers. But
I said I call you.
Okay.
So I owned my words.
Which
right?
you shouldn't, yes.
Which is okay. No,
yes,
okay, be to me.
Okay.
Rogers, I just want to pick your mind about the bomb attacks that are in the country. What do you think we should do? Are we doing what is enough? Are we doing the right thing? Are we doing the right things, by the way, not the right thing?
I think for now we are. Because I am one person who believes in time. That everything with time.
But one thing we've realized about the Uganda police is that time is not their friend. Like they just
time is never anyone's friend.
They just come out every time to just, you don't know. The bombings were there on Saturday night. By Sunday at 12 midday 1. The police was already giving us a lot of information that I thought to be.
But you needed information, didn't you?
That's what they thought we did.
Don't you need information?
But you do not know how to give information at the court. Like, sometimes you have to rethink about the things you're talking about, and ask yourself, do I need to actually say this?
Okay, on the question of are we doing enough? I think we are trying to, because it's a process. And if I may remind you, if I may ask anyway, you remember the Twin Tower 9/11 thing in the United States? The solutions didn't come right up at the moment.
But it looks like they already know the people who are doing that. According to, they won't tell you directly, but according to the glimpse that they throw, they show they're pointing to somewhere.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking it's too soon to point somewhere, right?
It's too soon, except one problem. I think we are using the right speed. We are just producing wrong results. Because when especially a head of state comes up and says, when we touch those you want, don't blame
They're
us.
already throwing signals.
You are preconceiving this belief in the people.
Yeah,
that there are certain people, someone
who are doing that. Right?
So they already know,
Yeah.
which is wrong, because I don't think we have had enough time to do thorough investigations.
That's what I'm also trying
to come to a conclusion that a certain individual is that. So I think the wrong thing we are doing is especially to the president, with all due respect, it's very wrong to come and make people believe that they are leaders, especially because, honestly speaking, he's pointing in a certain direction that we all know. It's so wrong.
And that's why people are saying, aren't we just politicking or politicizing this game at the end of the day?
Yeah, we are. And it's wrong, yes.
Which is so wrong.
It is very wrong, because, you know, in these attacks, it's our brothers and sisters and parents and uncles that are being victims of those. And most likely, because they're still happening, some of us might lose their lives in it. So we don't want to come and hear those statements of, we know your friend, you know the people you like are the ones who are doing this. It's not really helping.
Yes.
If they are the ones, make investigations, make them
bring evidence,
and then convict them, because we are the victims of those. If they are the ones who are doing that.
Rogers, the problem that we have with this particular, I don't know, I don't want to say government, but there is a challenge that they don't have evidence. Oftentimes they can bring many people have been aligned in court, but oftentimes they have failed to convict these people because you don't have evidence. I'm going to give you an example of the messages, the Chagulanyis. You can throw trumped up charges on them. Even right now, the Segirinyas, there is no viable evidence that has been produced in court to show that, you know what, these people are guilty of what they're being accused of. And that is the biggest problem that you have, that you align people, and after aligning them to court, you do not have the evidence to back up your claims, and you end up looking ashamed. That's why you've seen the Attorney General drop cases over time.
But you see, there's this one problem that Uganda is currently facing, especially, of course, in the part of intelligence and all. They have had, for example, I'm going to use Segilinya and Soanyan as my example. They were, anyway, the way they are treated is just against the constitution. It's now, like you said, it's now guilty until proven innocent, which is not the case in Uganda. So I think this is the problem, that we are running to conclusions before we have the facts, which is wrong. And I think the better thing would be that if, for example, Segilinya and Soanyan is suspected of being the masterminds of the massacre killings, the best thing, in my opinion, to reach a conclusion, one with evidence, is to leave them go, and make sure I gather evidence. I know that when you're putting them in court, it's only that you have evidence. Because now,
because
it's
that's
just
a
on
very big
speculation.
challenge. We've had challenges like that.
We are working on speculation.
Oftentimes, we don't have evidence, and which is right. We don't have evidence. We start throwing trumped-up charges on people after you see the Attorney General doing a withdrawal, or you see a DPP also withdrawing, and you're like, what is happening in this country? But Rogers, I want to pick your mind before we go for the break. What should the president really talk about in today's address? What do you think? What are some of the aspects you think he should tackle most, and in order for Ugandans to be satisfied?
I think one is he has always bragged about security, and security
his biggest investment.
And the security sector has more funding resources.
The most funding.
I'm not very sure.
I'm telling you.
But I believe it's one of those top sectors that have
it
most
gets
money.
the most money.
So
budget allocation.
Yeah. So I think
biggest budget allocation it goes to.
So I hope that the president will come up with good solutions to approach these issues, and also a talk on because we had ISIS talk about this thing.
They claimed
they are trying to own the bombing.
Yes.
I hope he hints on that. I hope he hints on that, because it's one thing, because that's violating state sovereignty. That it's one thing to go and bomb another country and come and say, look, we actually bombed your country. It's more like threatening. It's like asking for violence, for retaliation, which is wrong. So I hope that he addresses that kind of thing.
Yes.
And the other is that to make sure to work on warnings. because we had, I think the UK and the US warned us that in the coming days.
It was UK and France?
I'm not sure, but there was some kind of warning which we took for granted, and look where we are right now. So I think a part of intelligence, part of security that is always bragging about is to preempt attacks like this, and that happens especially when there are warnings like this.
Issa was saying that they protected Ugandans from 47 bombs before this actual bomb.
Where was
these
those?
2 bombs? They've not yet informed us, but according to the ISO boss, what is his name? I'm really forgetting. He's called Colonel Charles Oluka. I think, yes, Colonel Charles Oluka. He says that they have prevented over 47 bombs from going. So you shouldn't say they've not done anything. That is what he's trying to
They
assert.
have. No, what my issue was, if there are warnings, let's preempt these kind of attacks. If they have, which we did not know as the public.
Yeah, which we didn't know.
We applaud you for
if
doing
they
that.
did, by the way,
did,
and if
yes.
we're using if clause.
Yes, because it's possible to come and tell us one thing and go totally different. That has always happened.
Okay. Thank you, Rogers. We've come to the end of the segment, man. See you on the environmental show that is yet to come. Rogers is going to be doing an environmental show, so just keep your eyes open. We promised you that starting from November 2021, you're going to have the best production you've had from the Alternative Dig Talk. We are redefining the social media narrative, and we're telling stories, we're asking the tough questions, and of course holding your leaders accountable. My name is Edgar Mathew Karuhanga. When we come from that break, Luwedde Lilian is going to be having a lot of time to talk about how her life is and then what she thinks about the political spectrum of this country. My name is Karuhanga, Edgar Mathew. Edgar Mathew. Let's go in for a short commercial break.
Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.
Hello beautiful people, you're welcome to the Snap Talk with your girl Teddy Tenjo every Saturday right from 6 to 7.
It is your responsibility omwana wo kubeera mu nyumba nga teyasuze bweru mbo bamubanja rent. Tukoye okulaba abalenzi abasajja abakunga butuufu tebabuulirirwa nga babulamu.
Towerabira nti tuli wano ku the Alternative Dig Talk. Mukwano gwange gwaliye topic kiji wandiyagadde twogereko. Is it about family?
You can take your time, look for a job, stabilize, men will come, men will always be there, you will get the men. Bonna goyagala musajja yenna goyagala ojja mufuna.
Embaga ketuuke. Bino bitu byasenga na ojja bafuna.
Naye ng'oli asitudde ttu yakedde ku makya baga nti nsitudde ttu. Naye nga mubutuufu agambye nti gy'akyali muto.
Is it outside family? Is it society? Oh, could it be relationships? Just be commenting a topic yona gyandiyagadde twogereko tujjako tujogera kwano ku the Alternative Dig Talk ku share enganzi the Snap Talk.
Hey Ugandans, I'm Lieutenant Colonel Kiki, the Deputy Defense Spokesperson and actually the Deputy Spokesperson for the Uganda People's Defense Forces. I was hosted on Alternative Dig Talk. I encourage all Ugandans that this is the way to go. Always watch, participate, give your views and ask questions on Alternative Dig Talk. Dig Talk, the way to go.
Ready? Okay, let's serve Uganda. As promised, we deliver. We are redefining the social media narrative, asking tough questions and holding your leaders accountable. We are non-partisan and break down having a conversation with Uganda.
We are the Mighty Drive. We hold debates that give you viable solutions. We bring to you people that Ivora is wanting to listen to. We are gender sensitive and give space to the unheard voices. Not forgetting the quote of the day.
We are live on our social media platforms, The Alternative Uganda on Facebook, YouTube and Twitter from Monday to Friday, 7 to 9 a.m. Don't miss the debate behind the wheels and our studios.
I am Edgar Mathew Karuhanga
and Princess Luwedde Lilian.
Expect in-depth analysis, credible, factual and authentic information. We are the Alternative Dig Talk.
Real issues, real talk.
The Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.
Welcome back from that short commercial break. My name is Edgar Mathew Karuhanga. We have 1 minute past 8 a.m. As I promised you, I have delivered Lilian Luwedde, Princess Omumbejja Luwedde. He's already here with me. Good morning, Liliana.
Good morning. How are you? Where is the Omagala Wabanji coming
You are
from?
Omagala. You didn't know?
No, I
You didn't know?
I did.
You check my WhatsApp. Mama, everybody, Lilian.
Omagala kuntundanga simanyi.
Omanku ne buli fe namba Lilian you know mujjako kimuche 10. Lilian, how was your night?
It was good.
It was cold, right?
No. Was it?
Yeah.
Nabadde nebisi. So, ebedeta cold.
So I'm not that coldness. Kati fa wasula kupira embisi fa wawulya the coldness.
Kiki ekikusuza kupira embisi?
Tekawulya.
Oyoza kiro. Good morning, Uganda. My name is Luwedde Lilian, the princess. Mwena batulaba, thank you very much. Thank you for watching. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for sharing. You're doing a very, very wonderful job.
Yes, Lilian. First of all, before we delve into the discussion, because there are a lot of things we're going to talk about today, but I want you to tell the viewers anything that you saw today morning that was unique in your eyes. This one captivated me today. What is that thing that you saw along the road that really amazed you? Or was really different?
Wemba sichijukira. Ekyanewunyisiza in the morning, kwe kulaba bodabodas nga zisaabaza abantu. But the people bebadde basinga osaabaza. Ekyanewunyisiza babadde bakyala. Ekyanewunyisiza nnyo ne ngamba okay, abakyala baba nga basobola okukeera bwe bati. Nga basobola okukeera buno obudde n'agamba kati ngenda kukola. Kyewunyisa kiba kyamaanyi nnyo for me as a woman.
Wow.
Nenkiraba nga olaba abakyala banno bakeera ne bagenda okubanga bakola something kyendabira ddala nga bwe tuba nga tugenze maaso bwe tutinaffe abakyala tujja kubaako ate ekyo kitusobola okukwata.
Already mwina kye muli mukwata. By the way, for me, I'm of a view that women are already there. I don't know why. I just think abakyala already batuukayo. Omulembe guno gwafuuka gw'abakyala. When you look
not all
at
of
the
them.
parents, girls,
Yeah, not
female,
all of them.
single mothers have raised most of the children.
Yeah.
Most single mothers. Abakyala wakati balina high places in society. Women have a voice. Women have a say. Women run families. Women feed their
Yes,
families.
but,
they are feminists.
Edgar,
Nze ndaba mwafu.
Waliwo obuntu obumu obuteebulizaayoko. At times bwe weesanga bw'otuukako mu companies ezimu ne weesanga nga oba MD mukazi. The men ababeera balina ababeera under her oluusi bamuyisaamu amaaso ojja kwesanga oluusi awamu bw'aba agenda okuba oba mu meeting bamuwa ekifo ekyo ng'alinga just bakimuwadde naye nga talina authority oba talina that power kwogera ku bintu ebimu nga bw'atuuka mu meeting tayogera bamwanjula nti ono MD waffe naye nga tayogera nga basajja kifuba kyefuga okiwulidde. So in some offices oba in some places abakyala bano ogambye batuuseewo naye nga just baweebwa ebifo naye nga tebaweebwa buyinza.
So you still lack the power?
Yes.
Kale Lilian, let's start off the discussion. Simanyi lero tugenda kutandikira kwanga tulina bingi ebiri ku plate. The president of this country is going to be addressing Uganda today. Agenda kubayogera ko ne ggwanga ku ssaawa bbiri. Essaawa bbiri ze zisigaye kwagala kwogera budde president wagenda kwogera. You know why? President ayinza obagamba ssaawa bbiri naye n'abawuddisa paka nga ku bbiri kitundu oba ssaawa ssatu oluusi. It is not okay. I find it unethical. When you tell us
machines
omanye ekintu kya time machine wozetegeza zibeerawo nga ziri weziti leka kunnimba zibeerawo already nga zikulaga ekifo mulimba minister batudde nga president anajja. The thing is I want Africans to learn how to value time. Ekyo kintu kiyigidde ku boss wange wano Mr. Norman tumuhimbise muntu wa time wakugamba saa 12 zinakuwa saa 12. I've met people like Patrick Bitature when he tells you I'm giving you 5 minutes of my time for you to do an interview with me. 5 is 5. So when he tells you to come at 11 and you come at 11 and 5 minutes, your 5 minutes are done. You go. Chenjagala tuchiyige ate china kuva kuba fountain of honors our President Museveni. Omuntu bana Uganda obagamba declare ku Tuesday. Nienda kuba njogerere ggwanga ku Thursday. That means you have 48 hours to prepare yourself for Ugandans by 8 or 8. Because you have to have time decency, time discipline.
Should I say in Africa? But okay, let me not say in Africa.
We have to change, yes.
Abantu abamba because the positions they have, the leadership positions.
Which is so wrong.
Okuba nti bo bazikozesa for their benefits naye ate oba oliawo n'okulaga abalala nti okay bwemba mu kifo kino nsobola okukola kyonna kyonna kyenjagala.
Which is so wrong.
Ebiseera ebisinga oli ajja kubanga oba ye member of parliament ne bamuyita mu lukiiko ne babagamba olukiiko lwa ssaawa 6 najja ssaawa 8 mwenga mwatudde dda mulize oluusi n'abamu balina kino nti tetutandika mukolo ng'omukulu oyo tannatuuka ne kwegamba abaali badde mmaliriza essaawa 8 laba te bwemutandika ku 8 kitundu.
That is so wrong banange. Nze kyensa president wekyova nsitera kwogera budde ne ngamba Ismail wano tulinawo president agakwogera zino ssaawa no. President ayakwogera naku lwaleero katusuubire agenda kwogera ku ssaawa 2 naye waatulwisawo najja ku 2 kitundu ezo eddakiika 3 munnayuganda alina ekintu kyasobola ozikolamu. The moment you want to know the cost of 1 minute is when you miss a flight. You will know what 1 minute means. Okitegeera obuntu obutono weebutyo tulina obweyigiriza tubeere abantu nga naffe tulina a bit of civilization. Naye the president is going to be talking today and he's going to be addressing the country about the state of insecurity. That is when I want to first pick your mind, Lilian Luwedde. Osooka otubulye gwe mundabayo, if you were to be President Museveni, what are some of the things you think he should actually tackle? Byalina okusookerwako oba ebintu ebirina okubanga tubifuula yaku mwanjo mu kwogera kuno kwa Thursday.
Okwogera kw'olwaleero omukulembeze w'eggwanga nze n'alyagadde nnyo atunuulire asookaddemu atubuulire ku nsonga ya security y'eggwanga eyimiridde etya. Olw'ensonga nti security eno bw'otunuulira ku budget ekamu ssente eziwererako ddala era ndowooza nalaba leader of opposition nga naye agamba baagala embalirira
ya sente za security muziteekawo ze tubawa
okuva mu mwaka gwa 2018 mbalirira ya security sente ze babadde nga babambadde muzikozesa ki. So nze n'alyagadde omukulembeze eggwanga yongera atutangaazeemu ku nsonga ya security eyimiridde etya. Munnayuganda yeyongera okweraliikirira oba omutima gwe gukakana because bangi nnyo abalindiridde okuwulira ekinava mu mukulembeze w'eggwanga ye ebintu bino abyogerako ki. Njo nadde ndaba Honorable Sewungu ng'agamba nti ye kimuluma nnyo okubanga abantu nga bano abakola ebintu bwe biti babayita pigs. Ye awulira nga ddala kimunyiiriza ddala.
Lwaki?
Simanyi.
But aren't pigs the most filthy animals?
Waliwo abagiwoomerwa lekera kugira bo.
Abantu tebawoomerwa mbizi. Abantu bawoomerwa nnyama ya mbizi.
Nnyama yayo eva mu yo. Bweba teri watu obogenda kulya ki.
But it does not make it less filthy. That is the truth. Okay.
Let me tell you why.
Katika nkubuli why the president always likes to refer to those bad things as pigs. President Museveni culture y'aba western abasinga embizi tebagirya ate bajeenyinyala okitegeera many of them kati ye bwaba kuvumye oba wakugamba embizi, that is the highest degree of disrespect, or the highest he can go to just shame you nti maso gaabwe. Era kyovulaba omukulu Norman we watekayo bubizi, that was in 2014 as he was doing activism and trying to save this nation, which I really credit him for. Someone who has actually stood the test of time, and it's not many activists or people who stand the test of time like that. Many of them are, you see, they are bribed, and you can see people who are now, I don't want to mention names here, but ekintu ekyo we yakikola kyamuluma nnyo, because a true Western man does not want to be equated to a pig. Okitege era kati ye wakuyita embizi aba kuvumye nnyo mu ndaba ye wadde Uganda bantu batenga kyokoze. Yeah, so that is a vital issue.
Omukulembeze ggwanga ndowooza bw'abanga, because minister the General David Mohozi naye yesterday yayogedde ku nsonga eno yennyini nategeeza nti bagenda kukwata abantu bennyini abo abakikoze. Naye nze kyekimu ku bintu byenjagala omukulembeze w'eggwanga bayogereko nti abantu nga bano abakola ebintu bwe biti bwe baba nga bakwatiddwa biki eddala ebibakolebwa, because oluusi tuwulira bagenda kukwatibwa nekikomaawo ne tutaddamu kuwulira kintu kyonna kituuseewo, oba bakwatiddwa oba bakoliddwa bwe bati ne bwe bati. So mukulembeze bw'anaaba nga atubuulidde ku security y'eggwanga oba oli awo Bannayuganda bamu banakakkana ku mitima, kubanga abantu bangi emitima gibeewanise beeralikidde kati oli atya n'okutambula atya n'okukola bwati ne bwati. Naye ate kyensaba omukulembeze gwanga ku luno atuyambeko atuukire ku nsonga.
Nange kyembadde njogera, nange mbadde ndi wano nga ndi
because omuntu ayagala awulire ekintu ekyo amanye kati embeera eri bweti
bw'amala okujja late sometimes natandika okubanga alandaga.
Yes, so kyendagalira ddala omukulembeze w'eggwanga atunuulire ku mulundi guno tuleme okuwulira stories nti bwe twali mu nsiko, kale bwe twali mu nsiko ku mulundi guno omukulembeze w'eggwanga kyensaba atandikireko. No,
omusajja weyewaanira mu nsiko ye ssebo.
No, Edgar ne bwe yali omusajja ng'okwogera ku nsonga za COVID-19 okiwulidde, era n'ako akantu yakwogerangako nti bwe twali mu nsiko, naye saa zino twogera ku nsonga za byabulamu, biki obulamu ensonga y'ebyobulamu eyibiridde etya mu ggwanga erya Uganda. So oba oli awo sinnamugaana kwogerako naye minimize.
No, it is history that I think to him, to Prince President, is history is the one that determines the future.
Right? Waliwo abantu abamu ng'oli alina kintu kyayagala okuzzaako awo mu ddakiika ntono ne wagambye eddakiika 3 ezo ezisooka Munnayuganda ayinza okuba ng'alinamu kyakoleddemu ekyamagezi oba ekyamaanyi oba ye kyalaba nti kiina kyekigenda omuyamba, naye ng'akyali awo akyalindiridde kiki ekiddako. Bagenda tuggala oba tebagenda tuggala.
Yes. Njagala Lilian tuke twogereko ku gundi eno. President, I know also kutulaga what is the connection, or is there a connection between the fire, the bijambia,
and
the bombs as well? I think at Natanzano laba waliwo ne bazitatya waliwo ne zi fire outbreaks ngo je kozi eza amayumba
gwenna ulido gwennansana
gwennaka waliwo gwennakawa
waliwo nansana waliwo abagwennoonyako ku bantu babali nansana ku mastore around there. So
oba najjo giri connect, because there is a what terror has actually blossomed up in the country all over, and it has blossomed up in our systematic way. Omwami kano Luka yavuddeyo n'agamba mbu bomu iso stopping bombs ana musanvu before this. So Bannayuganda tulina okwedda okubanga tubeebaza singa bomu ana musanvu zaakubadde eggwanga. Ninjagalira ntusooke tukibalemu kino ekintu bwe kiti. Are these fires? Otunulira omuliro, bw'otunulira ebijambiya, bw'otunulira bombu eziri mu kubwatuka, ne buno obufayo obutonotono obwo petrol station obwo mastowa obwo, are they connected? Is it one terror attack that tuliko over? Because it feels like
I'm not so sure about
I want to think why would they all happen at the same time?
I'm not so sure about that. Naye ebintu bino okubawo kwabyo oba oliawo kyekimu ku bintu ebibadde birina okutuzibula tubadde tufuuse so reluctant nti oba oliawo tulowooza buli kimu kiri oke naye nga oba oliawo ebintu ebimu tebibadde.
Abannayuganda bakyali reluctant. Did you know that? Ugandans are still reluctant. Yesterday there is a story. Yesterday there was a story they're running a Nation TV. Bagezaako okunoonyereza balaba na Uganda bali extra vigilant right now. So what they were doing is a journalist had his bag on and he was traversing the different arcades in this country. Ngayingira buyingi. So ngayagala labe. Is there an arcade wanamugamba mbugwe? Cliff yimiri yatsoke tukwazeeko. Naye nga all arcades were like business as usual. Tebacha naba mazi, tebacha naba ngalo. Tebacha checking abantu bayingira we bafuma. In a time when Uganda has been detonated 2 times in less than 3 days. Nenga tulia ofena, we are still reluctant.
No, I think yesterday but one. Nalina kone ba neighbors bangenga obuli awo nga twogeramuko bo ewaabwe kye bakolera kiri kitya okukebera kugenda maaso omwana omuwala omunaŋŋamba nti yes kituufu bagezaako okubanga bakebera naye oba oli awo tebataddeemu nnyo nnyo maanyi okuba nti ensonga eno bagikwatira ddala mavumba nti ekintu kibaddewo mu ggwanga ffenna tulina okubeera abeegendereza tetumanyi kizaakaani tetumanyi bbomu endala eriruddawa because tuyinza okulowooza nti oba bagenda targetinga oba wano oba wali oba wali naye ate ne bakwewunyisa ne batagetinga awantu wobadde tosuubira because no one could think that bano abantu bayinza otega bbomu mu bbaasi okiwulidde naye ate ne kitwewuunyisa n'olaba nti bbomu yali mu bbaasi so nannyonnyola naŋŋamba nti waffe bagezaako mpolampola naye oliawo oluusi bakikola leero ne batakikola kuba baali babiwumulamu ebyo byokebera nti bakuteekako akuuma akakwaza okuva waggulu balabe kikyokutte bafokasinze nnyo ku COVID-19 nti olina okuyingira ng'olina mask oba oliawo onaabye engalo ng'oyingira naye nga bino ebyokebera mu Buganda ayingidde ne bbomu nga tebikyaliwo nenzijukira bwe kyali mu 2010 nti bbomu bwe zaabwatuka emyaka egyaddaka ojali 2-3 awo nga tuyingira wantu wonna nga tebakukebedde naye emyaka egyo bwe gyayitako ne tukkakkana ne tulowooza bbomu tezigenda kuddamu kubawo because twali assured nti security y'eggwanga eri ggulugulu amagye gakuuma poliisi zikola omulimu gwazo okiwulidde so tekyaddamu kubaawo bannayuganda ne bakkakkana ne baddayo buli omu naddayo ku bulamu bwe obwa bulijjo ng'oyingira nga tebakoze naye covid bwe yajja bwanga bwonna netubukyusa netubuuza ku COVID-19 ng'osobola oyingira ekizimbe nga tebakebedde naye nga toyingira ekizimbe nga tolina masiki kati bali kubanga abantu abakola ebintu ng'ebyo I don't think nti bakikola omulundi gumu ne baddayo ne batuula wansi ne kiggweerawo bo basigala bapulaninga mu bwe mubiviirako ennyo ate nabo bwe bakola ki webazuukukira ne bakola ebyo byonna bye bakoze
kituufu nnyo but Lilian nendala okijjeyo na bulungi nti buwaddewo relaxance ne complacency in the security or in trying to maybe secure the different areas which is actually so true ngawe wenagambye wano John Cliff yayingidde wali ebizimbe byonna nabimalayo nga tewali kigenda maaso but then I would also like to look at it from this perspective. President Museveni wagenda otwadressinga leero I want him to also differentiate for us. Is this a political attack? If it's not a political attack, is it a resistance or bayekera? Is it obuyekera or is it terrorism? Omanyi bino ebintu byanjawulo. Political attack oyinza osanga wali abantu nga bali mu politics gimmicks nga bali mu kutta bannaabwe nga baagala bashaming government kitekoze okitegera oba it can be two way or it is the government doing that to make sure it taints another political group, violent or something like that. It can actually happen. And I'm speaking this from a point of view that this has happened in this country before. It is not the first time it is happening. In the 80s, we saw these things happening. Utafide yabagama in 2003, I think 2004. Ntiba bikolanga. Ayambala UPC, neba bombing emotoka, abantu ne bafa, abantu ne banyigira ki? UPC ninga baba because baba bantu balala. So politics zibera bwezi. That's why I tell people here I hate politics. Politics is too dirty again for me to be in. Nti ekintu kyolaba mu politics kyolaba wano si kye kino. Wano olaba 5 ziyinza okuba ziri mukaago ba 10. Because yes, politics is that is how politics is. So I want President Museveni to in an honest way. Nga tujemu bintu bino yogamba mbuno because umanya at the end of the day politics or no politics, Uganda must thrive. Era njaganya abantu abakozesa endowooza nti buli kimu kye tukola tukikole nga tukikola mu bulungi bwa ggwanga lino Uganda. So president asooka atubuulire, is it a political issue? If it's not a political issue, is it a resistance buyekere? Oli abantu abatamwagaliza abali mu kutandika okuyekera eggwanga nga bali mu kuyekera gavumenti eriko nga nayo yakikola mu kinaana. Are they doing that, and are they the ones who are the perpetrators of these bomb attacks? And if so, why and what do they want? And who actually are they? Most common, engeri kati gye tuli mu kuwulira, ekisinga obeera common, beebo aba ADF, abayekera, so terrorists. Wetuwe tulina ba terrorists ba ISIS abatotte blame ne bagamba bo ba terrorists babayita bannalukalala.
Fe twakoze kino.
Be bakoze kino. Bwe be bakikoze real. Kubanga omanyi nga we nabagambe olunaku lw'eggulo nti bano ba terrorists, oftentimes we have seen them many times, they claim responsibility for things they have not actually done. Sometimes kasibe bakikoze balagenga olaba nekyali mu 9/11 era abasooka okugamba mu bakikoze bali bakikoze Al-Qaeda,
Al-Shabaab?
No, by 2001 waliwo beteeka nenga Al-Qaeda yali ekikoze. So kyeni mukulaga mbu nekyo tuyinza okuba tuli mu blaming ICC in connection with ADF nenga osanga si bituufu. So president asooka atudisaaningire atubuulire, is this a revolution? Are these political games? Or are we having a terrorism attack? If you define that, then you also know how you're going to handle each sect. Bomanyambuno, it's a political encounter, then that means you have to handle it in a way that is suitable for a political attack. Then if it's a revolution, you also have to look at the solutions. Yes, even the terrorism. By the way, bamukwata Jamil Mukulu. Era yakwatibwa agenda sindikira bagenda musindika mu ICC basoke bamuwozese. So ebintu ebityo njenjagala president asooka akole ki? Atunnyonnyole. Then singa asobola n'otuwulya the future of Uganda eyimiridde ki? Nalabe yakyusiza kati security donna basa yamulese mu ggwanga okubanga yadumira military police ate abadde Somalia juke Somalia baade badiringa nabayekera my president Museveni ayina ekyo ky'ayita quick fix muntu oba omanyi omupiira alinga Sir Alex Ferguson we yali akyatendeka omupiira yawangula ebikopo kuva 86 paka 2013 nga wangula bikopo buwanguzi naawumula lumu naye ekintu kyalina yali quick fixer nti walabanga Ferdinand olwadde ani asobola okuba ekya Ferdinand oshe wadde tokuba namba ya Ferdinand oshe yingira hoje kube
nti bano ba Michael Carrick babaleetera wa
Michael Carrick olwaddemu he was a quick fixer. So that is the president omulama neruli yetwa tugenda mu kalulu quick fixing lokechi jangu wano abanga azanyi amanye mpikingiri gye zitambulamu which many people don't like to hear, but President Museveni is a very brilliant man. Abatagala kuchulya mu abamanyi. But President Museveni I know. So all the statements zenkola wano ngamanyi abantu cheba passive ngeri. Many people will never agree with me that President Museveni is a very intelligent man. But why I want them to agree, or why I think they should agree, is one, a person, you cannot be stupid and rule a country for more than 30 years. In fact, no, for more than one term. Tosobola kubeera muntu musiru n'olikulembera. Obusiru okubanga obugezi bw'obukozeseza otya is another story. But the mere fact that you've been in the driving wheel of this country for 35 years and you're going for 40 years, that makes you an extremely intelligent man. So Museveni is that. So quick fixes ezo ntyanyo okuzaagala engeri gy'azigattagatta amangu kati yalese donna baasa ndeka atubuulire wadde simanyi oba anaasobola kitubulya. Why now? Why don't Nabasa? Why has he brought him now? And he has been known to be his boy. He aliko SFC, yala commanding SFC, his Special Forces Commander. That Special Forces Command fela tujimanyi ina power nyingi. So President asoka tudisaningire. Why is he making these moves? And what is he calculating at the end of the day? So wachinachi improving our security, then Uganda oyetaga reassurance that you know what? You Ugandans. Thank you so much. Noza Lilian, watuve ku nsonga eyo because waliwo ensonga nyingi ezigenda mu maaso. Olina nsonga kyawo gye tuba tuddako.
Oyogedde ku nsonga ya energy drinks.
Omukyala Peace Mutuuzo, State Minister for Gender and Culture. Agambye teenage pregnancies mwe muli wano mugamba lockdown yeebireese. ekirese teenage pregnancies mukama n'ayamba kombucha chairman w'ekyanga
so zikola zitya okuleeta that teenage pregnancy
ziwa abantu amaanyi
so
abantu balina okugakozesa bonna abantu abawala n'abawala energy drinks enaku zino buza bonna nzedda nali manyiza abasajja abamu
I don't want to agree with her nti zino ze ziviiriddeko okuba nti embuto zeeyongera mu baana kubanga covid-19 acontributinze kinene nnyo okuba nti abaana bafuna embuto mu muggalo guno olw'ensonga nti abaana bali waka abaana tebakyasoma bw'otunuulira omwana eyava ku ssomero ng'ali mu primary 7 saawa zino oyinza omulaba ng'ageze n'olowooza nti abadde agenda na mu senior 6 okiwulidde but obadde obuzaaki
bane yakubuuza wouldn't you also agree nti energy drinks nazo zisusse nnyo
yes zisusse naye ate nze I don't think ze zicontributinze kuba nti abaana bano bafunye embuto nyingi nnyo energy drinks zina eringa business nti abantu batandikawo business bano ne balaba nti oba oli awo basobola okufunamu ssente naye abantu bangi nnyo abazi embrace nze katale olinaga nti nze kanyo kano kanankolera okiwulidde kyekividdeko okuba nti zeeyongera obungi nti ne bizinesi zino zimerukawo buli kaseera ojja okwesanga abaleese kano muba mwakawulira kano baleeseyo akapya naye simanyi oba bakebera omutindo gwabyo nti oba gutuukagana n'omutindo gwennyini ogw'ebyokunywa birina okuba nga binyweebwa because waliwo ezo energy drinks z'amaanyi nnyo oli bwakanywa kayinza n'okuba bwe kati omutima n'owulira nga tokyassa bulungi okiwulidde lwakuba nti abantu oli bw'abanga abadde mulwadde banga abadde talina maanyi abamu babukozesa so that afuna amaanyi oba agamuyamba kugenda okola naye I don't think nti ze ziviiriddeko okubanga
But I wouldn't expect some minister. Okay, you know, in Uganda, that's the funny bit about Ugandans. Ugandans have a lifestyle that is so free. So also, what a Kizant president, a full minister, would bring about such issues in a time like this one. That okay, the energy drinks being there, that is, I don't know what's happening in this country, but I don't know if people no longer have energy or what because it's too much. But then there's some topical discussions ministers on the floor. Because kati otuwa ebyokwogerako bana Uganda tubeerayo nga tetulina byakwogerako gwatuwa ebyokwogerako naye era tetumuwa na time nyingi peace mutunzo
ekyo kyayogedde kikyamu because abaana bangi nnyo bafunye embuto during this COVID-19 pandemic so I don't think ekya energy drinks kirina we kikwataganya n'okukyabaana okuba nti bafunye embuto ate ng'ennamba eri
there is a lot of sexism and sexual talk in Uganda and all over social media platforms. I don't know if we're always about we're young people mostly, but we have a lot of loose talk and sexual talk. Now ministers are also indulging in the sexual talk because if she was saying energy drinks are bringing about pregnancy, that means a lot of increased pregnancies. That means what she was trying to assert is that people have a lot of energy to go there and start wasting and getting pregnant, which is wrong. But let's not talk about that, Lilian. Let's talk about something that is vital to the women of this nation. You, and I'm going to pick your mind. Women are dying. According to Kawempe Hospital, Kawempe webazalira bannange, mulago we Kawempe bamuita. Mulago we Kawempe abachala webazalira, report efulumye, abachala bafira musanya bangi. Abachala 16 olunaku. Nga be bafa. Ngekisinga okubatta kye kirwadde kibayita ekya hemorrhage. Hemorrhage kyekirwadde ky'okubleedinga and oftentimes wo bleeding ennyo omukyala waba agenda kuzaala yes there is a bit of bleeding. Why am I even talking about these things? You should talk about them. But I'm a journalist as well, so I can talk. Yeah. So nange sizaalangako but I've made research. So ndoza abana abakyala bafulumya nnyo omusaayi kati waliwo kyeka ennaku zino wabeera hemorrhage bakulukuta nnyo ne ba bleeding nnyo ne batuuka ne bafa kyekirwadde ekisinza okuba nga kibatta so bamaze okufulumya ripooti eno nga balaga yeeyongeddeko abakyala 16 minimum.
That's a big
bafa. That is a rough estimation that 16 women pass on as they're giving life, which is really something that is hurting at the end of the day. Actually, and I want to pick your mind because I was remembering a story I was driving one individual to go to give birth one time by then. And when I took her to hospital, she didn't have her partner around. So I volunteered to stay and maybe, help her around. But this lady was in pain for 2 days. In 2 nights, I'm looking at the pain. And she wasn't the only one because I was at Kawempe. It was a public, hospital. Manyi kunokuzala kati sente nyingi. Na ye Kawempe ogenda yo kuzala. I remember bamuja kono zentwalo ngena kugula buntu ntuna yengo kuzala. Bikozesebwa. Biwate biri wonga mwino bigula mpola ne baloka bamulongosa. But the trauma I saw ladies nga bali ku floors. Ezo corridors ze Kawempe abamanyiri dwaliro. Mu floors nga mwe bebasomo nga abamu bazalirawo aba doctors tebabafaako, like it was really too much for me. It is the first time I had a feeling of, man, I don't need to give birth. I don't need to see this again because people, and this lady had taken, she was in pain, and these doctors were actually just passing by her, not doing anything for her. Tonatuka, you cannot even tell someone at least over guma or anything like that. It's like imitima jakaluba mukwanga.
Echo kyeralikiriza okuba nti nyiza okwasinaba kutuuka kubeera mama naye kyeralikiriza because enamba eyo namba eri waggulu nnyo. Naye oba oliawo ate n'abasawo oluusi tebafaayo.
Kyekinange kyembadde ngenda okuleeta.
Abantu bano ate ne bafa. Oba oliawo abasawo abamu malwaliro agamu aga gavumenti oli aba ayagala y'akawogo. I think was it during the COVID-19 pandemic wamawulire bwegasasa naawo omukyala eyafiira mu ssanyu olw'ensonga nti omusawo baali tebalinawo kasente ke bamuwadde. Omukyala n'afa mu bintu ebiringa ebyolusaagoosaago naye ate obulamu bw'omuntu ne bukola ki ne bugenda. Abasawo bambi bw'obanga weewaayo okubanga oweereza eggwanga mulimu ebintu birina okubanga ate oteeka ebbali. Nzijukira omwami bamuyita Otebe. Mwami oyo ayagala nnyo okwogera ku kintu passion nti ebiseera ebisinga waliwo passion weeyingiriramu n'otafokasinga nnyo kubanga bw'ofokasinga ennyo ku ssente oyinza obutakola oba oyinza obutaweereza abantu nti buli kaseera ojja kuba osuubira ssente ojja kuba osuubira okubaako ekintu kye bakuwa naye ebiseera ebisinga passion eno yeesooka ye kudriving okuba nti ogenda kukola ekintu kino nti Edgar Mathew Karuhanga wakola journalism nga kyekintu ky'owulira ky'oyagala okiwulidde ng'okikoze okuba nti ogenda kuweereza ki eggwanga. So n'abasawo yensonga yemu nti abakyala obulumi buno of course nammwe muli bakyala abantu sawo abasinga mu bimanyi naye omukyala ayingidde eddwaliro omulaba embeera si nnungi naye ng'omuyitako awo otambuludde eno ddeeri okiwulidde oluusi we kyekivaako abamu n'okubleeding ennyo n'afa nga tafunye kuyambibwa kwa musawo oba oliawo ne bagenda omukwatako oba omukolako ng'ate kiri kikeerezi nnyo. Naye kyensaba gavumenti.
They always do that nga balaba otandise okugenda. Abasawo njogera kino kubanga nalabalaba n'amaaso gange mbamanyi abasawo b'Ekawempe eyo. I was there, I saw it with my eyes. They only start working on you when they say she's about to go. Ngolaya dala agenze ali ku last point, ali ku last minute. Olabiranga batandika omukolako. What is that? What does that actually mean?
Nekati nze kyensaba.
Obumanyi omulimu tewagugenda mu gwagala. Bwesonyiwe. Let me tell you, kunsiya mukama, I have a person here who tells me, my boss, ayogera nnyo ku passion. Kintu kyonna oweega kibe successful. Kankubuli ebyasooka obyesonyiwe, simanya toyina capital, simanya toyina ki, oba toyina kino. The thing is, the moment you have passion for anything you do, Lilian, it will be okay. But when you don't have passion and your thinking is just doing it for the sake, that means we are gone as a society, as a nation, as a country. So, bannange kitusaba abasawo musoke mwebereremu because I'm looking at these maternal deaths from a perspective like, okay, there are many people to really, I don't want to use the word blame. I don't want to blame anybody, but some people who are responsible, the doctors, the nurses wani, bannange mutukwate bulungi. Omulimu wabati bakusasudde wajja kuweereza. Manyi ole emirimu nga siji mirimu mbuno nyakola sente.
Obusomesa.
Buweereza, journalism buweereza, abadokita baweereza ggwanga lino. Tuvula there are some doctors I like. Doctors nga babakubira. Sawa mwenda doctor ne bamukwenda doctor waliwo emergency. Get up, come and nazuuka nagenda nakola ku muntu. We want people who are like that. There are doctors who have done their best. Thank you so much. But then there are these ones who actually look at you like this from head to toe. And if you don't have money, it will be a mutuyambe. Ekirala facilities ntono. Ngo inabagambye abantu bebaka mu corridors.
Nga tutuna agenda ku corridors oyogedde ku mitwalo ena gye bawayo
ejogula obutewali bintu
naye bwe kituuka ku mukyala nga abadde talina nga n'emitwalo ena gino talina busobozi bwajo wewe okusanga omukyala nga afiiridde mu ssanya naye nga sigamba nti oba oliawo kino naye okuba nti ebikozesebwa tebiriiwo eyo nsonga nkulu nnyo engeri gavumenti gyetadde ennyo esira ku nsonga ya security yalibadde etunuulira ensonga y'ebyobulamu buno.
Chitovu, ekisizo okunsesa Mutale Farouk. I was going to say that then I cancel. Mutale Farouk akugambye watuuka dde okubeera maama naye tonnaba kwetegeka kirabika. Togamba muno
sinabatuukayo.
You can be a mother. Right now you can be a mother.
Yes I can, but sinabatuukayo kya kubeera maama.
Mutale, thank you so much. Ane Mutale mwagala nnyo ku comment wo. Mutale Farouk, thank you so much for watching.
I knew ntogenda kwogera ku
I wanted to say that. But no, you're still watching the Mighty Drive. We're talking about a very pertinent issue right here. The issue of women who are dying while giving life. Omuntu afanga w'obulamu. Kintu kiri vital nyo bana yetu.
Zekyambadde ndi mu kugamba Edgar Mathew Karuhanga. Engeri gyekiri nti gavumenti etadde nnyo essira ku nsonga ya security. Ensonga n'ebyobulamu eddemu yetegerezebwe. Nti wadde essira balitadde nnyo ku COVID-19. Naye waliwo ebintu ebirala ebyetaaga okuba nga bitunuulirwa. Omukyala agende mu ddwaliro nga teri bikozesebwa kiba kitegeeza ki? Because waliwo abantu abamu balowooza nti abantu abali mu Kampala beesobola oba bali bulungi. Naye waliwo abantu abali mu Kampala nga tajja na kusobola mitwalo eneegyo egy'oggula ebikozesebwa byagenda okozesa ng'akola ki ng'agenda kuzaala ate ng'agenze mu ddwaliro erya gavumenti of course aba ayagala asangeyo buli kimu aba asuubira okusangayo kumpi buli kimu naye bw'atuuka nga teri bikozesebwa then government namwe muba mulina okukola ki muba mulina okwetunamu okwekuba mu ttooki because kiyinza okuba leero ogamba nti abange bali bulungi naye waliwo omuntu omulala wali ateesobola ate buli muntu wa mugaso buli muntu tumutwalira ddala nti wa mugaso alina kya contributinga ku ki
kira kumutwala buli muntu wa mugaso mu ggwanga lino so bannange tusooke nze njaga gavumenti esooke kukola facilities ezo nti tutandika okumanga abakyala bano tubawa ebintu bye bakozesa togenda kutwala because kati eddwaliro buli omu alimanyi it's a specialized hospital for women you're giving a birth eri abakyala ate lino eriri specialized eriri wano mu mulago wakati ate eryo liri abbeeyi nnyo okuzaala mulimu obukadde n'obukadde
omanyi nti n'ennaku zino okuzaala kuli expensive ojja genda mu ddwaliro erimu nga oli azadde buzaazi bulungi nnyo bamusaba akakadde kamu n'ekitundu nenga azadde bulungi kati olwo bagenda okoperating wa sente mmeka tali mbukadde nga busatu naye ate omaliriza okusasula buli lunaku lwabeerayo buli lunaku lwasulayo nazo ziba sente ziba zikola kye ziba zeeyongerako so munnange abasawo ensonga eno mugitunulemu bw'olaba nga omukyala ali bubi bannange tugezeko okuyamba
amazima bamala kukulaba ng'okutukawo ne balyoka batandika okujja
abamu bagamba nti oba tolina na ssente tojja kuyambibwa okiwulidde oli n'agamba amugira mu nnyamba omuntu wange sente zigenda kujja ndabika nerabidde story eyo ey'omukyala eyafiira mu ssanyu olw'ensonga nti omwami yali abakakasa nti sente zigenda kujja naye siziinaawo kati naye omukyala n'afa olw'ensonga nti bali baagana omukwatako mukolako nga sente tezinnatuuka
ndoza story eddako twogere ku kigenda maaso mu judiciary by the way we have like 12 minutes to the end of the show so musindike message zammwe tugenda kuba tuzisoma omukyala ina najja kuzibasomerako awo mutubuli ekikye mulowooza ku bintu bye tuli mu kwogerako kyetubuuzizza presidential address kikye musuubira kikye mwagala president Museveni ayogereko olunaku olwaleero ku ssaawa 2 ze yatugambye zagenda okubeerawo katumusuubire nti zennyini zagenda okutuuka mutubulire exactly what do you think about the presidential address? What can he actually talk about? And also noyogereko neno gye tubaddeko story ey'abakyala abafiira mu ssanya teri kintu kibi ng'omukazi okufiirwa obulamu
ng'abaana ababa batanne abafuna embuto nga tebannaba oluusi kwetuuka that's also another big thing nti abaana bano oluusi ababa tebannaba bakiyita bamagumba okuguma something like that
those are premature births
baba tebannaba kutandika oba oluusi omubiri gwe guba
tegunabasobola okuzaala naye tali ready
kuwanirira mwana nti nabo oluusi abamu bakola ki bafiira mu ssanya embuto ezeeyongedde mu baana tukikonyeko wali eri
mu baana by the way ekiri amolata osiwe amolata omwami oyo yakwatiddwa olunaku lw'eggulo ndoza story ena gyogeddeko ejjo nti waliwo abantu abadde beekalakasa mu Amolata nga bagamba osi wa poliisi ya Amolata yakwata omwana n'amukabasanya omwana wa myaka 14 so kyali bwe kiti agenda atuma mukwano gwe agenda aleeta abaana abooluganda babiri in fact agenda aleeta omuwala oyo so watuuka eri oyo owa booda amugamba jangu ne in a bad scenario kyeka n'agamba agenda kujja na muganda we so bajja babiri okulaba oyo osi so batuuka okumulaba osi ng'agobayo omuwala omukulu ng'agamba genda gwe amugoba asigaza omwana omuto ng'amala amukabasanya mu mwaka 14 so abantu be Amolata baadde bali mu kwekalakaasa nga balaga obutabiri bumativu bwabwe eri osi ono nga bagamba osi omwana wa myaka 14 yamukutte omwana kati bibigamba omala omukwata bwoti era olubuto lukola ki bwe rujjira awo so yadde amuseteninga wona ayogera nja kukola kino naye omwana yeevuddemu n'ayogera ekyalo kyonna Amolata kibali bubi kigamba omwana bwamufundisiza bwamukapasanyizaako kya osi omulamba era osi we twogera ng'atemeza mabega wa mitayimbwa so ebyo kyengamba mbu wetwogera ku teenage pregnancies bino ebintu tubibale byonna ate woolaba teenage pregnancies bannanga abasinga teziri wano mu Kampala abana b'e Kampala bali sharp abana b'e Kampala at 15-16 they're already on family planning which is not the case for the rural areas. No, you're smiling but it's true.
No,
I'm telling you.
No, it's not that I'm smiling. Naye teenage pregnancies is mwezi
ngamba zisinga kubeera eri
mu byalo eyo gye olw'ensonga oluusi nti sex education abaana abasinga ebintu ebyo tebabimanyi kati abamu baagala amanyi kiki ekibawo nga nkoze bwenti ne bwenti nti oba oli awo kino guno mulanga kati guli ku abazadde mukoze ekimala okubuulirira abaana bammwe nti kino na kino kiri bwekiti ne bwekiti because abaana ennaku zino guno mulembe mulala nnyo abaana baagala nnyo okunoonyereza ayagala amanyi kino na kino kikola kitya kino na kino bwe nkikola kiki ekibaawo nti ebintu byakyo si bye biri ebyedda naye kati essaawa zino abaana bategeera nnyo abaana babeera nnyo ku social media abaana babeera nnyo osanga omwana kati myaka 14 nga alina smartphone niwe buuza omwana essimu agikozesa endiga watandika okukwata essimu
ndozanga ni musinyanga 5 awo sinya 6
naye essaawa zino nowasinya 1 alina ki nowa P7 alina essimu.
Yeah, the thing is okay ekyamasimu abawala abaana okubaana n'amasimu it is right and wrong okay kidependinga ku ngeri gye bakuzaamu wali abaana nga amasimu gagenda bayambikira kati bali ku virtual education virtual learning so basomera ku mikutu gino okujjako kitwaligambye abaana mbakuziza okubanga bo benyini basobola okwekuuma ate byana abazadde why I'm thinking that teenage pregnancies are on a high. Parents have shelved away from informing their children. Inform, tell them the truth. For me, I've been raised by a woman who told me the truth from scratch. Which the truth is, the kids would know these things. So it is high time to have candid conversation. Why do you think wabadde musomero ati bazifuna mbuto bade tebasoma na balenzi banawe musomero lerimu lwaki kusomero omusomesa abagambira yakugamba point blank wokola kino ojja kufuna mu kino.
You know that waliwo n'abazadde abamu abatabuka no waliwo abazadde abatabuka omwana nakomawo ewakana mugamba teacher yatusomeseza ku kintu bwe kitino bwe kiti omuzadde n'agera ku somero n'atabuka
n'agamba kati omuzadde ayina obuzibu kati omwana we baba musomesa kati omusindikira ki ku somero. Because abazadde we bati no parents like that are actually just funny.
Abasomesa balina ne role gye ba plays abazadde gye batasobodde kola nti abazadde ekyokuwulira abaana bakyejjako olyakera kuma yamanye ekintu kimunkera ku macha agenda kukola naye ate wano mu COVID-19 embuto bwe zeeyongeredde okubeera
ng'abaana balina eki
ng'abaana balina
bazadde baabwe
kyekyo mukyala Janet Kataha kyeyayogerako n'agamba nti wadde mugamba nti mwagala gavumenti egulewo amasomero naye kino kyonna ekituusewo eky'abaana okufuna embuto kyongedde okulaga nti mwabazadde be mulina obuvunaanyizibwa bwammwe mwabwejjako dda mwabukwasa basomesa babeere nga bakola ki nga babubayambako.
Definitely naye nga tumaliriza what I'm thinking is now we need to do a massive sensitization of Ugandans baba sensitizing mostly the rural areas bagende because otunulya nalinda our statistics is Luwero in just the first lockdown bali no this second lockdown I think bali abana 1400 mu kugamba abana 1500 approximately be bafunye embuto teenagers rukunjiri kyali was wotuka mu northern Uganda
Zombo district gaina 6000
okitegeera wotuka waggulu eyo
ate beba abamanyikiddwa waliwo abalala batagenze malwaliro
yes batagenda kufuna batagenda malwaliro mu otunulye kyali mu northern Uganda ezombo gulu lira nga bangi rukungiri bangi
the first lockdown
it's too much in the rural areas we need to have a massive sensitization
ne Kenya bayogerako ku mawulire ago nti abaana inaku zina abaana bafunye embuto stofali namba yeyongedde awo nno nga babala 4000 naye simanyi kati namba eri ku kine botunulira abaana bali mu byalo oluusi abamu balimbibwa obuntu butono nnyo botunulira waliwo amawulire agamu ge nalaba nga omwana annyonnyola story ye ngeri gye yafunamu olubuto nga annyonnyola nti oli yamufera nti ngenda kuwa sanitary pad. Omwana ono nga tajirina.
Yes, I've seen that investigation.
Namugamba ngenda kuwa sanitary pad. Naye okugikuwa nawe olina okubaako kyokola ki? So omwana ono naye n'agenda n'agamba waaye kangende nfune kino. Naye atagenda okuvaayo ng'akoze eki? Ng'afunye olubuto. Then story endala gye nalabako yali ya mwana era bamulimbira Rolex n'akatunda. Ne bamaliriza nga bakoze ki nga era afuniddeyo ki afunidde. So obuntu buno obutonotono bwine engeri ate abaana bano gye bawuguddemu olinga bamuvugako waneeno bane bamukolako bwe bati ne bwe bati obulamu bwewo bwetaaga okuba nga
ebyo byonna bijja ng'omuntu omaze okumuggula amaaso abaana baba informing abaana
babategeeze ne bwe kiti tokola kino wabula ojja kufunamu kino na kino.
Gye tumalirize ne story y'omwami Semujju ne Minister Muhwezi engeri gye beetwalidde obaka video ako wasobodde okuba ng'okalabako
ndakalabyeko
nga balina engeri gye beetwalira but I still enjoy Semujju. Semujju is someone waba akukubisa facts n'akugamba tereera nkyakuwa nga takuvumye takutali emotional he's speaking from one point of view yayogedde ne Muhwezi ka video ako njagala bannayuganda mukanoonye mukalabe
katambudde nnyo
ku mikutu gyaffe gino egya social media mukalabe mujja kufuna ku nseko zammwe omwami Muhwezi nga naye bamusekeredde kuba bamutuuze ne bamubuuza speaker n'amubuuza
kati kiki kuluno kyayogedde
kiki kye bayogedde mbw ate tewali
kyayogedde naye erinnya lyange yagambye erinnya lyalikolere okutandika okuba nga lyogerwako
nagamba naye nze byenjogerako ziri facts wagenda n'okima amuvalisogo ogwa inchi 2
ate ekyewuunyisa abavaayo tebaddayo naye gwe waddayo n'okima omufalisogo ogwa inchi meka nagamba inchi meka
inchi
2 Honorable Semujju bw'aba nga wa submissions ze mu parliament ebiseera ebisinga ateekako examples bwatyo bwe yayogera ku Prime Minister mukyala Right Honorable Robina Nabbanja n'agamba mbu tasobola yadde tasobola yadde okulembera akatale ka something like that sikijjukira bulungi nnyo era omukyalo ono yajja mu parliament n'agamba simanyi lwaki buli bw'abawa example erinnya lyange akola ki alyogerako andeke yaneesonyiwe so that's Honorable Semujju badde boogera ku nsonga ya
yabadde ensonga ya bail omanyi just
naye speaker yatabuseemu kaawo n'agamba watomanyi kyakuteesaako bireke tuula wansi
ndayiddezo yadde agamba minister because Semujju yadde ateesa ku nsonga nga ziri pertinent okujjako yakoseza example ya minister yatayagala just kumwogerako naye nga olaba ensonga Semujju yadde ayogera facts oluusi yayogera facts mu ngeri eruma so oba tolina mutima gwakala oba tojja kusobola Lilian soma message z'abannayuganda banetuva ndaba obudde producer atugamba obudde
buweddeyo nabukeera tenjo teri yagamba insecurity ensiko ye tetukwatako we didn't send him there
aganda bakuwa bannange
in my observation Uganda and still nabukeera tenjo teri in my observation Ugandans are not bothered at all. They are depressed to that extent that they only want to live a life. Whatever comes, they don't want to know as long as they have life. Twemerireho Alex yagambye the bigger part of his address today will cover security, putting in consideration the most recent bomb attacks and threats. Otherwise, it really sounds obnoxious that in a country with leaders that brag much about their security mixed with an episonage did not take caution about a possible attack serious, and we have all seen the outcomes. Those I think yadda yogera kuchokuba nti baba batulabula naye ate ne tutobone tutabifaako nnyo. Mutale Farouk Hussein Edgar Lilian Luwedde watuuka obeera maama naye tonnaba kwetegeka kirabika mwami Mutale. Awo nja kuba nnyonnyolawo ebisingawo ku ebyo. Tumusime Kato, good morning to you all. Thank you for the show. Namala nayongerezaako nti but as you talk about mothers who die while giving birth, please don't forget that there are hundreds of children dying of hunger in this Uganda. The government still has a lot to do as regards to saving lives of Ugandans. Mwami Mutale Farouk naye yongera na commenting anagamba nti oyo tumulaawe ndoza yadda yogera ku oli osigo badwego wayogeddeko yakabasanya omwana, then nayongera ko nti government bwekyuka abakwata abaana bakulaawa. Obusungu bungi mwami Mutale. Naye tujja kugendera omukyala Farida Bikobere kwali nnyo, mukulu Jeremiah Mukiibi naye kwali mwebale nnyo mwena abakomenti nze ndoza zezo comments ezensobodde okubanga ate nsomako kaneyongereyo ko waneeno ndabe oba nsobola okufunayo comment endala. Innocent alina byona agambye ali mukulaba okuva erwengo. Mwami Innocent tweyanziza nnyo tweyanzeege webale nnyo okubanga naawe ate kuwuliza ezo ndooza comments zensobodde okubanga nsomako.
Tweyanziza buli omu atulabye olunaku olwaleero. Kyassanyu nnyo okubeera nga mubaddeko. Olunaku lw'enkya tulina voltage ky'okusaawa emu ez'akawungeezi, then era tulina ne mighty drive. No, in fact the voltage is not there. It's going to be on Friday. So tomorrow tegenda kubeera ne Friday eri eddako egenda kubanga. Then the hotline egenda kutandika ku Monday kuva ssaawa emu paka ssaawa 3 ez'akawungeezi.
Actually bategeeze wembadde nga mulabira voltage buli lwa Monday ssaawa emu paka ssaawa 3. Awonna ate waliwo programu empya munnange gy'ogenda okubanga ate oyotabulira okuva ssaawa emu ey'akawungeezi paka ssaawa 3 ez'ekibuli lwa Monday, era nga programu eno emanyiddwa nga the hotline. Munnange tosubwa ensonga zino ezigenda okubanga zoogerwako, ensonga nyingi nnyo. Then waliwo programu endala emanyiddwa nga the diaspora link, eno nejja kubangayo buli lwakuna zijja kuba ssaawa 11 paka ssaawa emu ey'akawungeezi. Munnange ate togisubwa. The Mighty Drive show ey'omulangira badde ngebeerawo buli lwakubiri ababadde nga baginyumira ba mikwano, atongera okubategeeza nti yakyusiddwamu katono nnyo ate neeteekawo ku lunaku olwokutaano, era nga ojja kubanga mulangira Nakibinge, ojja kubanga omwota buli lunaku olwokutaano. Munnange ne sports show ejjanga kubeerawo buli lunaku olw'Emande okutuuka ku lunaku olwokutaano kuva ssaawa 6 ndowooza mpaka ssaawa 7 ez'emisana. Ze shows ate ze mutalina kubanga bamikwano musubwa, era nga byebyo ebipya ebimu ku bipya ate bye tubaleetedde omwezi guno ogwa Museenene gwe tugenda okubanga ate tuyingiramu. Tugenda kubanga tubaweereza nga bwe twabasuubiza okukikolanga ate bwe tugenda okubanga tukikolanga bulijjo. Ebirungi ate bingi nnyo ebigenda okubanga bijja maaso, programs nyingi ezigenda okubanga zijja. Omukulu Rogers Tulyahabwe yabannyonnyodde nti environmental tips zigenda kuba tezikyabeerawo ku Mighty Drive, wabula egenda kuba ate program eyeetongodde mu maaso awo ejja kubanga ate esoosootolo awamu ate ne Mighty fashion tips ezibadde zikolebwa mukyala Tenjo Teddy ate nazo ejja kubanga program eyeetongodde mu maaso awo. Ezo zimu ku nkyukakyuka ate ezizzeewo, era nga bannayuganda tukola bino byonna okwongera okuba nti tubaleetera ekyo ate ekisinga. Ndowooza wano we tugenda okubanga tusiibulira.
Kale nze mbasiibudde bannayuganda mwebale kubanga mutulabye. Tujja ku meeting enkya ssaawa emu kupaka ssaawa 3 ez'okumakya. Mampita Edgar nakoze n'omukyala Lilian Luwedde. Musiibe bulungi, mweraba.
Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.